Hello, this is Cameron. Myself and the rest of the Emberly digital team are super excited that you have decided to work with us for your website project. Thank you so much for being a client. We hope that we can provide you the absolute best service in the world and that you can have a really good understanding of what's going on with your website at all times. That being said, your website is a WordPress website. We build many of our websites on WordPress depending on the specific applications that we need. WordPress is a content management system. What a content management system does is, not surprisingly, manages content. Basically, WordPress is a great way to organize and view information. That's really all it does natively. It allows you to organize and view information and dynamic information. If you think about it, somebody could update a website by continually adding all these new pages. When they add a new blog post, for instance, they could go add it to the all blogs page. Then they could go add an individual page for that blog, and they could extrapolate that forward and just build individual pages for everyone. You could build a logged in page for every single customer that's tailored specifically to them and give them a link to just their page. That would be a ton of work. So content management systems are used to dynamically manage content, and that's what makes websites like Amazon and eBay possible, because it can generate just millions and millions of pages in minutes. WordPress is a great system for managing small, medium, and large business websites, and basically today we're going to go over the basics of WordPress, how it works, what you can do with it, and just some of the components that you're going to see on your site. So we're going to take a look at a couple things right when you get into WordPress here. So I am in the WordPress dashboard. I'm just going to move myself over here. You can see a few different things. The dashboard really doesn't give you anything worthwhile. There's some news and events from the WordPress community. The WordPress community is very good, so if you ever went to WordCamp or something like that, that would totally be worth it. But for the most part, the dashboard is just the dashboard. What really becomes interesting is when you start editing post types. So everything in WordPress is considered a post. Technically, a page is a post. We have some other custom post types on our site here: projects, icons, we've got tickets, all this stuff. Those are all posts as well. And so essentially, WordPress uses the post system to categorize and display information. So in this video, we're particularly going to talk about the difference between posts and pages. There is really only one difference. Other than that, it's the way that they are displayed on the website. So we're going to look at posts first. The difference is that pages are typically like the pages on your website that don't often change over time. They might change, but not very often. Your home page, your about page, your portfolio page, your contact page, they're relatively stable within the sitemap. Now your posts, on the other hand, are going to be blog posts, news, stuff that you are updating on a timely basis. They are attached to a time signature. So let's go ahead and jump into posts and take a look at how to edit them. So once you're into posts, you will see this editing interface here. So the editing interface allows you to do a few different things. First off, you can hit Add New. You can also go and sort by different types of posts. As you can see, we've got some that I've written. We've got some that are, or at least my user has written. We've got some that are published, some that are drafts, one that's in our trash. And essentially, you can click on any of these to categorize them. And then you can also go down here to edit or change individual posts. So we can click on Edit to go into an individual post. We can always click Quick Edit too to change some basic things about this post. We could change the date here. We can really do whatever we want. We can change our categories. We can also use the bulk editor. So for instance, if we wanted to add the same category to every single post, we could just go Edit, Apply, and then we could check Uncategorize. We don't really have any categories on our posts, but you could do that if you wanted to bulk edit every single post at the same time. You can also sort by author by just clicking on an author here. You can click on the columns at the top to order by different stuff. So for instance, if I click to order by title, it's going to order by title instead of date. So by default, if you click here into all posts, you're going to see the latest one first. Now, WordPress by default doesn't come with a clone button, which is kind of crazy. So we added a clone button by installing a plugin. So that's something that we add on to every single WordPress site just because it's very annoying not to have it. So now that you kind of understand the layout there, you can, by the way, always go up here and search your posts. I will teach you a quick trick though. If you really want to search the posts on the page, go up here to screen options, okay, and make sure you're showing 200 posts per page. That's really the most that the system is reliably going to be able to show without kind of timing out, having issues, etc. Then you can just hit Command F or Control F on your browser, and you can search for whatever you want. Ta-da! So that is the easiest way to actually search for stuff in this little dialog box if it was published in the last 200 or so. So we're going to go ahead and hit Add New, and that's where the magic is going to kick in. So you will see this brand new editing interface, and this might look a little bit different. If you used WordPress before, this might look a little bit different than what you've used. You'll notice I'm closing all these boxes down here. I don't need them right now. So this editing interface is called the Gutenberg editing interface, and it's going to be around for a while. So Gutenberg is a new initiative by WordPress that basically says, okay, we're going to have a more block-like interface, a more structured interface so that people can kind of reimagine the way that they work with WordPress. So it's kind of an attempt to look at all these page builders and say, hey, let's provide a solution that just works right within WordPress. And it's kind of maturing into the point where it's being used a lot. It's a great long-term move. So right here we can add our title. So let's just say our title is going to be how to write a great blog post. Now down here we can begin typing. Want to write a great blog post. Here's the 3 secrets you need. So if you hit enter, you're actually going to use or add a different block. So at that point you can say, let's see, 1, pick an SEO researched topic. 2, write with a structure. 3, make it interesting with examples and pictures. It's just off the top of my head. You'll see that what has happened is because I did 1, 2, 3, I've turned it into a list. That's a type of block. So you can click right here and you can change the type of block. I could actually change it into a heading. Now I've got 3 headings. I can drag these blocks around by clicking right here or just using the arrows to jump them up and down. So that's always possible as well. And then once I click on a block, I have some standard editing capabilities right here. So for instance, I can go ahead and hover here. Or I can select this little section of text. I can bold it. I can italicize it. I can justify my text right, center, left, all that sort of thing. I can add a link. So if I were to add a link here, I would have to hit the little submit button there, and then my link would be a link. I can also open that link in a new tab. If you're linking to a different site, it's usually polite to have that open in a new tab so that your user doesn't leave the page that they're on and all of a sudden get jumped somewhere else. So you'll notice over here on the right-hand side that we have a couple different things going on. Number one, post and block are the 2 different types of settings you can get to. So I'm going to move myself over here so we can see. Blocks all have settings, right? So you can change the font size, for instance, on your paragraph. You could change it to huge, you could change it to medium, all that sort of thing. You can change the color, and this allows you to change the settings on that specific block. Now, you can also go to post, and you can edit some of the basic attributes about the post. So let's take a look at what these actual statuses are and what they do. Visibility. So public is obviously going to be visible to everyone. Private, that's not going to show up unless you're logged in as a site admin or editor. Password protected, you can protect it with a password, and it will make you enter the password before you can view the post. You can also stick it to the top of the blog, so it'll always be the first one shown. You can copy it to a new draft or move it to trash, and you can switch the author as well. Typically, template is not something that you're going to edit for posts. Generally, we will set up a blog template, and that will be good to go. Yoast we'll talk about another time. Now, the permalink is the actual link to your post. As you can see, this permalink isn't great, so I actually have to go back to the all post editor if I want to change that right now. Categories here, if you open that up, you can add new categories very easily. You can check categories, and you can do the same thing with tags. So remember, you can get to your stuff over here on the right-hand side. Your featured image, you can hit set featured image, and then that's going to take you to the gallery where you can load stuff here, or you can hit upload files and drag files in. I need to grab a cord so that my laptop does not die. And I'm back. We're all good. Okay, so you can, for sites that have a template that allows comments, you can check this box. Otherwise, this box does nothing. Don't worry about pingbacks and trackbacks. That's kind of a WordPress specific thing that doesn't happen too often anyway. So, those are the primary components of editing a blog post. I do want to show you one more thing that's really great. So if you go ahead here and hit publish, instead of publishing immediately, you can actually schedule your blog to go out at a later time. This is a great strategy if you want to do some content marketing with a schedule. When we work with clients and we actually make a content calendar, we plan out what types of content we want to see at different seasons. What do we want to see around the holidays? What do we want to see during the busiest seasons of the business? How do we handle the down sales cycle? All that sort of thing goes into determining our content calendar, and then we're posting content based on the appropriate time period. And you can set that all up in advance. I actually did this myself one time. I was like, man, I'm going to get really good at blogging. And so I spent 52 days writing one blog post per day, and then I scheduled it out every Monday for a year. And for a year, people were like, man, you're so consistent. You just keep writing and writing. I love your blog. And I was like, thank you. I literally haven't touched it in a year. So that's a great tool if you want to schedule those posts to go out. Once you schedule them, they will go live as soon as they hit the date that you set here. It's very, very reliable. So one thing to note as well, you can always click on these buttons up here. If you ever have your sidebar disappear, click there, and there you go. And then if you need to get around to other stuff, you can go to the three dots here. Normally you won't need to. So mostly, if you're frustrated about finding a setting, make sure you're not in the block setting, you're in the post setting. And then to get out of here, you can publish your changes, or don't publish your changes and click over here on the left-hand side and click leave. So that's how to edit a post. And here's the difference. So pages are actually going to be pretty much exactly the same. So let's just say, we click on the home page here. Pages are going to be exactly the same, except they're not as time bound. So this is already published. We're never going to change that. The visibility is public. There's not really a lot for me to do on this page. In this case, you'll see that the page has actually been taken over by a page builder plugin called Elementor, which is what we wanted to do. So you can always go into the WordPress editor here and edit some stuff, but you can also jump into the Elementor editor and edit the page. We will talk about that a little bit later, but hopefully this is a little bit of an introduction to WordPress that will help you get a little bit more comfortable behind the scenes. In general, what I like to do to practice is create a new page or post and just, publish it, make it private, whatever you want to do. Take a look at it on the front end and then just try stuff. Try clicking every single button and see what it does. That's the way that has been most helpful for me to learn. So anyway, I hope this video has been very helpful. If you have any questions, let us know. You can always go to our website, emberlydigital.com, and click on support, and we'll get back to you very soon. Thanks so much.